I often wonder, how many alternate timelines do you destroy the world because, frankly, you don't have the cojones to die yourself? So as usual, I'll be the bigger man. Welcome to the Pixel Pop Movie Podcast. For this quieter, more intimate episode, I'm joined only by the wearing terrible face makeup and smeared lipstick, Lucas.
Listen, I mean, as long as it's erotic for you, it's erotic for me.
And, of course, I am Toby, also known as Vengeance.
Are you?
Yeah, I mean, on a good day, if you can get me out of the chair.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. You could bother clicking the recliner in.
Right?
Yeah.
So, normally we would have a third. That's par for the course. Whether that would be Ethan or Jesse or even Jackie at times or Dan. But everybody's kind of busy at the moment. Of course, a lot of our contributors are in New South Wales and dealing with the rain that's happening down there at the moment. It's pretty crazy. So, topics of conversation are threefold this episode. We are going to, and it's interesting because you and I are often different opinions. So this could turn into a wrestling match.
There's no Ethan splitting us up for a
No, he's usually the neutral, so it's on. We're going to be discussing the season finale for Wandavision, episode 9, and of course the series recap. We're going to be discussing Zack Snyder's Justice League. And of course, we're also going to be discussing episode 1 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So there's lots of really cool stuff to be sinking our proverbial teeth into. We've also got some news, probably not the biggest news fortnight we've had, but that's probably for the best considering how much else we've got to get on with. So, but we do have some choice bits.
Bit of everything. Like normally we kind of get more into the comic side of things, but it's a pretty good split this time.
Yeah, well, I'm going to kick us off. We've only got one trailer on this list anyway that is relevant, and that is for The Unholy, which will be in theaters Good Friday, April 2nd.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think it's only produced by Sam Raimi. He's fortunately not
Correct.
directing it, but...
Correct, yeah, he's kind of slapping his name on it like he did with Don't Breathe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel the trailer probably gives away a bit too much.
I was instantly... So I'm a massive Jeffrey Dean Morgan fan.
Right.
And so I saw him in it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, I'm already going to go see it. Like, this is fine. But, like, shit starts popping off in the trailer, and I was like, oh, I'm all the way in. Like, and it's only out in a couple of weeks, too. It's, like, April 6th?
Second. I don't know if that's...
Yeah,
second. I don't know if that's the Australian release, but yeah. So it's not far away. Yeah.
Oh, I'd imagine they'd be scrambling to get anything in the cinemas right now. So
True that.
It's really interesting. Good. Like, I get the understanding of putting the religious horror movie on Good Friday.
You're right.
to me, that's funny. But yeah, no, this looks amazing. I'm really excited for this.
Did you feel though that the trailer might have given away a little bit too much?
Honestly, I won't know until I see it. It could be a case of they've kind of given away the best parts and stuff. I think giving away the monster in the first trailer, I think, was pretty bold. But again, that could be a misdirect and it could be another monster. Like, I'm kind of, when it comes to stuff like that, I become a little bit of an optimist and I'm like, maybe they didn't give you everything. And then you go and see it, like, no, they gave you everything. So
you're kind of hoping for that, like, second twist, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell revealed that Evil Dead Rise will start shooting this year.
Was that the subtitle for it? Rise?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. So I think Campbell's on as a producer. I'm not sure how much, because I know the remake wasn't directed by Sam Raimi, was it? I don't believe it was.
No, it was Fede Alvarez.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, Fede Alvarez. So
which is the guy that did Don't Breathe, funnily enough.
Yeah, it's set to be directed by Lee Cronin, who did The Hole in the Ground, and he was handpicked by Raimi. So
cool. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. So Evil Dead Rise, going into production this year. That's cool.
Yeah, very excited. And Bruce Campbell said he's coming back for it, right? Like, he's coming back as Ash.
I don't think so.
Oh, he's not coming back.
I could be wrong. But I got the impression he was kind of done with the whole.
I mean, it would make sense if he was. Like, the only reason why I can't imagine Bruce Campbell coming back is because Ash versus the Evil Dead ended on a very, very big cliffhanger, and so it would be interesting to see if they continue off the series or if they're just going to kind of go, right, this is going to be its own thing.
Just says here that Campbell, who serves as a producer on the film, stated that he'd be heading down to New Zealand for the shoot. it doesn't make any mention of him, as far as I can see, appearing in maybe a cameo if we're lucky. Because there was a cameo at the end of the Evil Dead remake, if you remember, at the very, very end.
Wait,
he says, yeah, at the very end, he just does that misty scene and he just goes groovy. Or
I kind of remember.
Yeah, it's like a half-second scene, really. It's tiny. Yeah, but it was just a tease.
It's been a while since I've seen that one.
Moving along, T.I. I'm not familiar with this gentleman, but he's an actor and a musician, has been apparently accused of doing lots of naughty things to a number of women, and so won't be returning for Ant-Man.
Yeah, it's Dave from Ant-Man.
Dave, right.
So you know how there's Louise, Michael Pena's character, and then there's David Dalsmashian. There's the crew that Scott runs with.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's Dave. I think his name's Dave.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a fairly. I mean, that's not like I wouldn't call it a critical character to the thing. Like, we could probably lose that one pretty easy. Ariana Greenblatt, who you probably know as young Gamora from Avengers Infinity War, has been signed up to play Tiny Tina in the upcoming Borderlands flick. I'm not too fussed on the Borderlands flick, but I thought she was an amazing actress, and even when I saw Infinity War, I commented on her performance for having such an intense emotional range. Like, she just nailed it.
Yeah, she's like, I know she's real young too, so like kind of having to be able to understand the complexities of a character like Gamora at her age is actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But now kind of seeing with her obviously playing Tiny Tina, she's kind of now going the other way, and she's just going to be an absolute nutter.
Hugh Grant, who you'll know from a billion movies, most of them probably comedy romances, and Sophia Lillis, who you'll probably know from It, the more recent It. She played the young lass out of that. I have signed up to appear in Paramount Entertainment One's untitled film adaptation of Dungeons and Dragons.
Again, something else. It's getting a pretty good cast.
Yeah, Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith.
Yeah, Regé-Jean Page from Bridgerton, and now Hugh Grant playing the villain. Like,
yeah,
this is a solid. This is another solid cast, and
I would imagine though Sophia Lillis is going to have to play some kind of elf, right? I mean, she's just got that kind of long neck and upswept cheeks, and
she's definitely aesthetically leaning towards playing someone like an elf or like a highborn.
Yeah, or maybe a halfling. Maybe a halfling. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons does have halflings.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe. We probably forgot about a film called Galaxy Quest, which starred Sigourney Weaver and Alan Rickman and Tim Allen, amongst others. Sam Rockwell and others was in there, but I think, in 1999. Well, apparently, Sigourney Weaver has confirmed that there is a sequel in the works. Obviously, sans Alan Rickman, rest in peace.
So I think I saw Galaxy Quest when it first came out in like 96 or whenever it was. And I haven't gone back and watched it since. But yeah, this came out of left field. I don't think anyone was expecting it.
No, not at all. But, oh well, cool. So
yeah. And funnily enough, something else that I don't think anyone else was expecting, there was another kind of out of the blue announcement. The company that made the first two Ace Ventura movies confirmed the third one's coming to Amazon.
with
Jim Carrey and the writers of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay. Marvel Studios is moving to Sydney for a guaranteed minimum of 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, they were already here for, what? They filmed Shang-Chi here. I think that was the first one that was here, right?
Yeah, and Thor Ragnarok.
And then, Ragnarok's now filming. And then, it sounds like Captain Marvel 2 is going to be here, and what else they got left to film? I can't even think.
Well, the beautiful thing is we've already got a lot of the facilities here for filming, because we've been doing films here for a while now, and that coupled with the fact that our COVID is largely under control due to a much smaller population to size, it makes us here in New Zealand are ideal filming locations right now.
Yeah, for sure. And on top of that as well, Marvel had a really good relationship with Australia filming Ragnarok. Yeah. They, obviously good enough for a relationship that they came back to do Shang-Chi, and now Thor Love and Thunder's here.
Yep.
May as well make use of the prime location.
What can you tell me about this limited series follow-up to Party Down in development at Stars? Because you seem to be excited about this. Yeah.
So this is honestly one of the most underrated comedies I think ever made. The show was made before a lot of these guys got famous, and from the names, Adam Scott from Parks and Rec, Jane Lynch, who went on to do Glee, Martin Starr, who is now in Silicon Valley in the MCU, Ryan Hansen, who was formerly in Veronica Mars, and Lizzie Kaplan, who obviously has gone on to bigger and better things as well, did this 2-season show called Party Down, which basically was them being actors or trying to be actors in Hollywood and working house parties essentially for like the rich and famous. And they were trying to get their headshots and everything to the people that were at these parties who were well connected within Hollywood. And it's just a very funny show. And was created by the guy that made Veronica Mars. It was his kind of first thing after Veronica Mars that he did. And it was not really popular, but it was very successful in like a cult perspective.
Yep.
And they just randomly announced, I think it was like the 10th anniversary of the show starting. They just randomly announced we're going to do a limited series and it's going to be in development at Stars in the US, which are the same crew that did the show initially. But yeah, they're all coming back. Very funny show. Something I'd recommend anyone watch if you're a fan of at least any of those people. No doubt if you've watched TV in general, you've probably seen at least one of these people. So it's well worth watch.
I missed this one earlier. Another Borderlands catch is Hayley Bennett.
She was in Devil All the Time with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
She's done a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. So, so she joins, Kate Blanchett, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Ariana Greenblatt, which we mentioned earlier, and Florian Munteanu, directed by Eli Roth, and it's going to be pretty chunky by the sounds of it. Michael B. Jordan is confirmed to direct Creed 3 for a Thanksgiving 2022 release.
Yeah, he's going the Sly route.
Yeah, I had mentioned this to you, I think a while ago. There was some rumors about it, and Stallone obviously stepping back and letting Jordan step forward, because that's obviously what Stallone did too with Rocky. It was his directorial. I don't know if it was his debut. I think it was his debut, but because he wrote the original Rocky.
So he wrote the original Rocky, and then he directed, I think, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, he started with the second one. Yeah.
And
so
then,
this is obviously a chance for Michael Jordan to sort of follow, not just in the character, like just the character of Creed following in Rocky's footsteps, but also Jordan following in Stallone's footsteps in real life, really. Apparently King of the Hill's coming back. Again,
another announcement coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't think it's been fully cleared yet, but there's heavy negotiation to bring it back.
True that.
Or like a heavy like like they want to bring it back. It just nothing's been finalized yet.
Yeah, writer Brent Forrester has revealed creators Mike Judge and Greg Daniels are currently in hot negotiations, quote unquote, to revive the popular Fox series. So it's not locked in yet, but the point is the discussions are being had. Here's what I'm kind of excited about. Steven Spielberg, along with the Duffer Brothers, who you'll know from Stranger Things, are bringing Stephen King's The Talisman to Netflix. What's a little annoying here, actually, it's only they didn't put it in the title. They're using Stephen King to grab the attention. It's actually, it's co-authored. It's Stephen King and Peter Straub, who wrote The Talisman together. It's a great book, if you haven't read it. It's a journey of a young boy, and this is not spoilers, but there's our world, much like Stranger Things, and then there's another world, and that world is kind of like a dark fantasy world. But what happens is that, let's say there's some people who are able to flip between the two, and when you do so, though, you sort of, the conscious you goes into your other you in the back of their mind. So it's sort of like almost having a twin, you know what I mean? And then you jump into that other person for the ride, but you can dialogue with them, and it's a bit more to it than that. Well, the main character, his twin in the fantasy world, died, but he didn't. So normally what happens to one happens to the other, but they both got very sick as babies, and the fantasy one died and he didn't. So when he flips, he's himself. And so he has to go on a journey to sort of, I believe, to help his sick mother. And he's going from one side of America to the other, and he's flipping backwards and forwards, and he's in pursuit, and people want him and all this sort of stuff. It's a really good story. And for some reason, it's never been adapted. I think they tried, and they've been trying for decades, and it's never happened. But Duffer Brothers have been absolutely salivating to get their chops on something Stephen King, and this is great.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know the story, but this sounds pretty cool, so...
Yeah, it's
and it has that perfect kind of balance of weirdness as well that the Duffer Brothers seem to be attracted to.
They'll absolutely... I'm sure that they're going to nail it. I mean, Stranger Things, is basically just
it's a love letter to Stephen King.
Absolutely, yeah. It pinches bits from all of his books. So, Kingsley Ben-Adir, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, to star in Marvel's Secret Invasion series for Disney+. He was previously been in One Night in Miami.
He was in that as Malcolm X.
It was Malcolm X, yeah, the star role.
Yeah.
He also recently played Barack Obama on Showtime's The Comey Rule.
Yes, he was also in that. So it's actually undisclosed who he's playing. So they haven't actually said yet. But I do wonder if that's going to be Blue Marvel. Because they didn't do... there's been no casting yet on Blue Marvel. And kind of with heavy-handed hints in WandaVision.
Well, it just does say in this article he will play a lead opposite Samuel Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn. So...
Yeah, they haven't said who he's playing, but I feel like they could be leaning into getting him to play Blue Marvel.
Okay. And lastly, an actor with whose name we all struggle with, Chiwetel Ejiofor?
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Thank you. Says that he has reported that he has started filming scenes as Carl Mordo for the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness film.
That's really interesting too, because it's very late in the production now. Like, I know they're supposed to be finished up, I think, start of next month.
So maybe he came in, maybe his character is, a late entry into the film,
Well, I've heard things about his role in the film, and I'm, based on how late into the production he's come into it, I'm tending to believe that it's real. I'm not going to say anything, of course, because I don't want to spoil that. Yeah, I'm glad to see him back. I think he's a phenomenal actor. And he was fantastic as Mordo too, so yeah, very excited.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Now,
at least he's going to show up. That's kind of my main thing.
Yes, that's the good takeaway. So, apart from the three shows that we're going to discuss in greater length, is there anything else you've been watching lately?
I've been catching up on, again, we talk about it every time. Superstore's finales this week, and we just started season 6, so I'm hoping to have that finished and wrapped up before Thursday, I think. I think the finale's on binge, so yeah, we don't have much of that to go. Getting pretty heavy into Fresh Off the Boat too, which is Randall Park. After WandaVision, I kind of was like, I need to watch more Randall Park stuff, so I've been watching Fresh Off the Boat. He is incredibly funny in that, and that's on Disney+. So apart from that, I can't really think of anything else I've watched.
I sat down and because I bought it when I told you I picked up all those DVDs at a Closing Down Video Easy. I finally sat down and watched Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander.
Oh, yes. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean, I think she's a great actress. I like the way she portrayed the character. I think Alicia, she put on a lot of muscle for that role, but, she screams like a real life woman screams. It's not a Hollywood scream. And the grunts and the tears and the reaction to pain. The whole thing felt less very like real. An action movie and more like an authentic female adventurer, so to speak. Like, she gets kicked, she's in serious pain, and as I said, every time she's sort of groaning or fighting or whatever, like her grunts, if you like, she sounds like a tennis player or something, you know what I mean? Like, it sounds authentic, and I think that added to the role enormously, because, of course, when we see a lot of sort of male action superheroes in particular, it's all very ridiculous. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, my big, probably the furthest comparison I could draw would be Jackie Chan. Like, he'll fall off a 15-story building and then just get up, dust it off, and keep fighting.
To be fair, that is Jackie Chan in real life.
Well, that's also true.
But he does fall off 15 floors.
The new Tomb Raider, it felt very authentic and raw in a way that action films don't anymore.
But I started watching Snowpiercer. I'm about halfway through season 1, the TV series.
Very good. I have yet to watch it.
Yeah, so far so good. It's taking a little while to grab me. I've also been told season 2 is a lot better than season 1, so I'm not hating it. It's not bad.
I've heard that too. I've heard it's season 1's a lot of table setting to then get you to whatever happens in season 2. But I've heard season 2 is very, very good.
All right, are you ready? Crack knuckles.
Oh boy, here we go.
Let's start with WandaVision, and I don't think we're going to really bother with spoiler free, so fair warning, because it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, we recorded literally right before the finale. So
yeah, so if you haven't seen it by now, well, let's be honest. Plus, I'm not going to remember I don't want to just go over very minute specifics of a single episode. I think we're ready to talk the whole show, beginning to end. I don't know.
Yeah,
we're sort of going to have a difference of opinions here, but that's all right because then it gives people something to talk about.
Will we?
Well, unless you've changed your tune, I honestly felt that, and the best analogy I sort of can come up with, if you'll bear with me, and you might understand this now because you've been watching this. With Doctor Who, there was when it first rebooted, you had Russell T Davies was doing the writing and looking after the show, and it was smart because he would hide things. And he would do things, and it would all loop back and come around, and stuff that you would go, oh, they've made a mistake there, would turn out not to be a mistake, and people started being trained, I guess, to look for this stuff. As you watched the show, Bad Wolf and all these kinds of things, you look for these things, and you'd look for these neat things, and you'd go, and it would all come back and pay off, and you would be blown away. And then when the show moved over to Moffat, it lost all of that, and things like Amy Pond's house on the outside is 2 stories, but inside is 3 stories, and it has a blue door. And so fans were like, oh, maybe her house is a TARDIS. No, it's just a mistake. And it lost being smart. And I felt WandaVision started, the first half started, and I thought, this is really smart. And then when nothing circled off or really closed off, I just went, oh, have you just made mistakes and plot holes, or what? I don't know. But I felt like it derailed somewhere around episode towards the tail end. I felt it derailed.
Okay. Interesting.
I think it was trying to be smart, and I think they tried a little too hard, and I think it didn't, at least for me, it didn't work, is how I interpret it. Now, I know there's been a few interviews since. I think the director in particular has come out and said that there was a crunch at the end and things were rushed, and apparently there was word as it was meant to be originally 10 episodes and then it got condensed. So maybe that explains. Yeah, okay. So I think it was WandaVision director says Monica, Darcy and Jimmy Woo had bigger roles in the finale, but the scenes were cut. And it goes on, perhaps the biggest structural challenge to the show is that the series was reduced from 10 episodes to 9. And the release schedule changed, which we know about, because this was meant to come out after Falcon and Winter Soldier, I believe, was it not?
Yeah.
Originally. So, we don't know the whole story. So I'm not going to sort of, start making the hangman's platform and the noose. I don't know the whole story. And I do think that perhaps this wasn't the best show to lead with. But it is what it is. I feel like there wasn't enough payoff to a lot of the setups, and for right or wrong, that left people a bit high and dry. And I'm not just talking about Quicksilver, but just a number of things in general.
I feel that, if I had been writing that show, I would have done it a totally different way, in that I wouldn't have mixed the sitcoms with the outside world. I maybe would have done... Yeah. Like, for example, the first 3 episodes as sitcoms, 4th episode, what happened on the outside during those 3 episodes, because you can kind of rush through that stuff. And then maybe do a sitcom 4, 5, 6, and then episode 8 be the recap of those sitcoms and what happened on the outside, because again, like, not a lot happened on the outside of the expanding of the world. The expanding of the bubble. And then have 9 be a payoff. You still get the thing at the end of episode 8, where, Agatha does all the stuff with Wanda, and then, starts to kind of become more real world type stuff. But yeah, I feel meshing the sitcom and the outside bubble stuff, I think maybe could have been handled a little better. But outside of that, I mean, I loved the show. I thought it was great. A lot of people disappointed too with the resolution of Evan Peters' character.
Very much so, yeah.
Which, from what I thought I heard, there's going to be more with him later. So whether or not bringing him in and then doing the boner joke is a misdirection for what's going to happen later.
Yeah. What I don't understand is, like, a lot of people have said that the bracelet was also giving him his super speed, but I don't think it's ever actually mentioned that in the show. I mean, it's implied that the bracelet was controlling him, but is it ever mentioned anywhere that
no.
it was also giving him speed? I mean, he could have inherently had the speed, right?
It was just something that Agatha gave him to have control over him.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I thought.
Even like when that wasn't the bracelet, was it?
It was a necklace.
Oh, it was a bracelet.
It was a necklace,
Yeah.
sorry. But yeah, I don't recall anybody saying that this necklace also gave him super speed, yet there's a lot of articles online that talk about that the necklace not only controlled him, but gave him his powers.
Yeah, so if memory serves me right, basically Agatha put him under a spell wearing that. It was essentially like a hex charm, like you would see in something like Buffy or Charmed or something like that, where like she has manipulated something and put it on him, and then she is doing his bidding and is under his control, and he is under her control via the thing that he's wearing. And until that thing is broken, he remains under that control.
It's, whatever you say, like we joked about, it's the most expensive cameo of all time at, whatever it was, like $8 billion.
74 billion or something like that. 71.
But it seems also, like, as it stands at least, it seems like an awful waste then. Like, to have all that money to buy Fox, to get the actor on board, to sign him up, to cast him in the role, and then just piss it up against the alley wall. I don't know, it just seems really bizarre. It's sort of like, why did you just put $100,000 in the fire and burn it up? Oh, because I can, lols.
So, I'm pretty sure we have the timeline wrong on this. So, there are interviews that actually date back to when the purchase had just started. And he was out doing interviews for Dark Phoenix. And the interviewer was being like, oh, Disney, with the Disney merger happening, is there any chance, would you guys like to join the MCU? He never answers the question. And apparently that's when he was asked by Marvel to come and do WandaVision.
Yeah. So is Scarlet Witch a villain now? Is this a character that we're going to have to deal with, because she's traumatized a town of 3,000 people and held them captive?
Yeah, I don't think she's a villain. I think she's the antagonist in her own story.
Yeah, I mean, she helped trigger the Sokovian Accords, and now, are we going to see Civil War 2? I mean, are we going to have this problem where you've got a mutant or a super or whatever, who's now gone and held a town hostage in North America? Like, that can't go. I mean, if Sokovia, is a thing, and then all the other, they've been keeping track of New York and all the other things that have been going on, there's no way this gets swept under the rug. I can't imagine. And more to that, I don't understand how you can have a magical event of this scale, and the only one that paid any attention was Agatha. Like, there's sorcerers all over the planet. Admittedly, not thousands of them or anything, but none of them were like, oh, hang on a minute.
So if memory serves me right, wait, where were her plates? Were they New Hampshire plates on her car?
I'm not sure. I didn't pay that much attention.
Oh, they specifically. Oh, it might have been Connecticut. But the joke. So there's kind of like, I've seen people have been joking on like Reddit and stuff. How the hell did Doctor Strange not get triggered into visiting and investigating?
I mean, he knows when Loki's on Earth within seconds.
But the joke is that how does Doctor Strange not know when he's one state over? Yet Agatha Harkness, whether she was from, I can't remember if she was coming from Massachusetts or Connecticut or something like that, which is like 3 states over to the north. I was able to pick this up, and so I'm on my way. Like, it's just funny that she's further away than what Doctor Strange is, but she's the first one there.
Yeah.
So
it bothers me a little bit. I mean, look, it is what it is, and I know you're not exactly going to bring in the entire Avengers team or anything like that. I get all of that, but I just thought it was a bit odd to have such a huge event and nobody else kind of take notice. I don't know. Especially when that bubble was expanding. When I saw that episode and she's expanding, I'm like, wow, shit, Strange is going to get involved now, right? Because where does this stop? Is she going to... I at one point thought she was just going to cover the whole Earth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can see that. At that stage, it's like, okay, well, someone's going to have to step in, right?
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointed in that. Unfortunately... if we look at the stuff on Netflix, this could very easily become an Iron Fist, where it's once this is put up against Falcon Winter Soldier and Loki and Secret Invasion and everything else that's coming, it's a good chance that this may be seen as the weakest link, and you might not get another. I mean, I'm not expecting a season 2 of any of these shows, to be honest, but what I'm saying, you may not get this kind of story again. Disney might play it safe and just stick to more traditional MCU style shows, which Falcon appears to be so far.
Yeah. I mean...
Which is bad in some ways too, because I'm all for experimenting to a degree, and I'm seeing different angles, because if we just have action Marvel, that's going to get boring after a while too. But I'm just not convinced that this quite paid off. At least not for me. I'm sure for a lot of people it did, but for me, I left WandaVision feeling a bit down.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, like, again, the only real, like, the only two episodes that are all, like, on IMDb, as far as I'm aware, are like under an 8 out of 10 are the first two. Like, everything onwards, like, you know, in this series was over 8 out of 10, which is pretty good. Like, a lot of shows tend to maybe get like between a 6 and a 7.
Yeah.
But it was rating constantly. You know, I think one of them has like a 9.5 or something. And I think it was the second last one when the kind of all the big reveals of like walking through Wanda's trauma and stuff. Like, that was all of that was revealed.
To be fair,
and why it was sitcoms and
I can blame myself here. I do. Probably for the wrong, I do hold Marvel stuff at impeccably high standards, probably even impossibly high standards. You know, I've been spoiled with the MCU films to date, so I kind of expect that caliber. So, you know, to defend the film, maybe I shouldn't have.
I think it, like, I'll be honest, I think it delivered. Like, to me, I wasn't expecting it, like, I wasn't expecting something along the lines of like an Iron Man story. Like, very much from the outset, if you watch the trailers and you kind of understand what's going on, like, you can see at the core of it, it's a drama. Like, you know, sure, it has the sitcom-y type stuff, but yeah, like, Marvel has always had a high caliber for me. Like, even that's why I'm so critical about Iron Man 3, is because I know that they can, and to an extent Thor: The Dark World, where, like, I know they can do high caliber stuff and high concept stuff. They'd already shown that they could do it. It's just that it wasn't meeting. To me, this met everything that I could have thought. Sure, like, you know, there was an article that I saw that I read that I thought was really interesting, that basically it was like, Marvel under-delivered on promises it never made. And it goes into all the thing of like theory crafting. Like, for example, everyone was talking about, you know, oh my god, Mephisto, the Fly, blah blah blah. There's Ralph, you know, all this other stuff. Like, they were leading you down the road of Mephisto, but not once in the show do they ever state Mephisto is going to be in this. And it's kind of like the criticism of theory crafting and how theory crafting can go wrong and make something that is good seem like it's bad because it didn't lead the way people thought it was going to lead. And I feel like WandaVision is going to have that, is going to kind of be tied to that, where again, like, they tell you that Evan Peters is Pietro, and she doesn't understand why he looks like that. It's a wink to us because we know why he looks like that, but they never said he, like, they said in the audio description, he looked like Fox's Pietro.
Yes.
They didn't say he was Fox's Pietro.
Yeah, still.
And like, you know, it's kind of like,
it is still a bit of a. You've got to admit, even there's a part of you that still has to admit it's a little bit of a slap in the face. A little bit.
I don't think it is.
Really?
I don't think it is.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, but, I mean, at the end of the day, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really awesome. Post-credit scene just literally had me frothing for Doctor Strange. Like, the moment I finished it, I'm like, all right, cool. Doctor Strange is out in a year. I'll sleep that long. Maybe wake up a little tired. And I'll go straight into it and I'll be fine. But yeah, just, I'm super excited for Doctor Strange 2 and where this goes from here. Especially the way that ended. And if she's going to fight Doctor Strange, holy shit, that's going to be amazing.
Well, he'll need to level up and become Sorcerer Supreme before then. Well, let's move on to spoiler-free, because it's still fresh, and it's only one episode. Spoiler-free, Falcon and Winter Soldier. What were your impressions?
Very good. Again, very, like I said before, very different to WandaVision in that this feels more like traditional Marvel stuff. If, you know, you're a big fan of the movies, especially Winter Soldier, this like, and I know Winter Soldier's obviously in both of them, but this just bled Winter Soldier vibes for me all over again. And to me, that's my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah. And without spoilers, we have had a cameo already that I wasn't expecting, which was nice.
The first one or the second one? I was kind of expecting him to show up at some point, but
yeah, but
I didn't actually know. I didn't even know he was going to be in it, but I was kind of like, we'll talk about him later, obviously. But yeah, I thought it was great. Like, the action scenes were way more fluid.
Yeah.
The
yes, of course. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there's the villain cameo as well. Yeah, because I was watching, I'm like, I've seen him before. Isn't he in Winter Soldier? And yeah,
the reemergence of a specific villain.
Yeah.
Who great. I thought was crazy underutilized and could be a great villain moving forward. Especially for Falcon and Winter Soldier, like I feel like he could be a very good foil for them. Like he's kind of their level of
maybe
villain.
Maybe we can wing some bullshit and bring back Andy Serkis because he was so underused.
Oh, he's dead ski now.
I know, but he was so underused. It's such a good character.
He was, yeah. I really liked Claw.
Yeah,
I actually really liked him as Claw too. But no, first episode's great. The both Falcon flight scenes were amazing.
Yep.
Was it just one?
I think it's just the big one near the beginning. That's about it.
Oh man, that went for so long. I thought it was two.
It did, yeah, but it was a great scene.
Oh, it's phenomenal. The way it's shot is excellent too.
Yeah.
But then obviously leading into the drama of like who they are at home as well, I thought was really interesting. It's a very good story to tell. Yeah,
because really prior to this, all we've ever really sort of seen was when we go to see Hawkeye. And I suppose Ant-Man as well, but there's not a lot of home stuff.
Yeah, and like even in Civil War, seeing was it Civil War? Oh no, it was Winter Soldier. Seeing Sam do all the veteran affairs stuff, like the counseling sessions and stuff, like that was some pretty real stuff. Like knowing that he was kind of chairing those meetings of like veterans that have got PTSD and stuff. Like just seeing the Falcon was just also a regular dude that just kind of fell into becoming a hero.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the suit was hung up as far as I understood it. They help him nick it.
Yeah.
So he can be an Avenger. Yeah. So,
but no, it was first episode was excellent. I'm very excited for the next one.
Yep, I think the pacing was pretty good too. Like it didn't feel like it was sort of too slow, and obviously you had that adrenaline rush out of the gate, and then the sort of the drama part didn't feel too slow. It moved pretty well. It was good. It was a 50 minute episode. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, I will say too, something else I was really into was keeping Sam and Bucky apart the whole episode.
Yeah.
And getting them back into a rhythm of normalcy for them.
Yeah.
As people. So it wasn't just straight away like, something happened in the first 20 minutes and now we're going to be, good cop. Oh, not even good cop, bad cop. Like, buddy cop for 5 episodes before we get our shit together in 6. Like, they're keeping them apart on purpose because they need to grow as their own characters before they can come together again.
Yep.
Like, and have the interactions like in Civil War and stuff. So, no, I thought it was really, really good.
All right, so we'll skip spoilers for Falcon and Winter Soldier at this stage. We're only one episode in, and it's only just aired, so we'll give people a chance to catch up, and then we can probably dive into some more spoilery stuff next episode. But let's move on to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Quick spoiler-free kind of recap because it is a different film. What did you think?
Yeah, again, like I said with between Falcon and Winter Soldier and Wandavision, it's night and day how different.
Yeah, I mean, it's copying a lot of backlash. There seems to be some politics around the show, and there's people getting upset that this even happened. I haven't dived into that too much. I'm not.
Joss Whedon's cut is to Zack Snyder's cut.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Just
the Zack Snyder
there's
cut?
just people that are not happy with Zack Snyder in general. I'm seeing a lot of negativity. I'm seeing people saying that Warner Brothers is pandering, that the entire thing is toxic.
Because so I mean, all that stuff was a while ago, but basically it was like, why is Warner Brothers caving to the fanboys? Right, essentially is what it was. And that it was toxic, that basically the fanboys were bitching until they got their way and Snyder got his cut. It wasn't necessarily about that. It was, you hired this guy in 2012 who pitched 5 films and said, this is the arc I want to tell. They say yes. They let him have the first movie, which was fine. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't fantastic. I enjoyed it personally. A lot of people didn't like Man of Steel, and that's fine. You get to Batman vs Superman, and we got what we got in the cinemas, and people were very annoyed. And then there was rumors of a Snyder cut of Batman vs Superman, to which there was outcry of, and then all the meddling stuff kind of came out. It was like Warner Brothers meddled. They didn't want a 3-hour. They got scared at the idea of a 3-hour film, and wanted Zack to cut it down to 2.5. So we did. We ended up getting an extended cut, which is now recognized as the canon cut. Everyone ignores the theatrical cut now. And then there were talks early on that they wanted Snyder out, and they wanted to abandon the 5-picture project that he had pitched in 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was less of politics from Warner Brothers, and it was more let the guy finish what he started.
Yeah. And
it was very, personally, I've always said this, and I will say it, outside of Watchmen and the DC films, Snyder's a hack. I don't like him. I haven't really liked him. Sucker Punch was garbage. A lot of the movies that I've seen of his are just fucking garbage. But, Man of Steel was okay. Watchmen was pretty good. Batman vs Superman, the extended cut, I actually thought is amazing. I thought it was very well done. And I was always interested in the idea of, if there's a better cut of Justice League out there, I want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where all the politics have kind of come from. It's that people are pushing Warner Brothers into basically trying to fulfill their contract to the guy and trying to out him as a director, literally as his daughter is dead, has passed away, so that they can get what they want and get someone in like Joss Whedon to basically try and make them a couple, a Billy.
Mm.
It's gross. It's super disgusting. And especially the outcry from the actors as well, also pushing the idea that, yes, there is a secret cut you don't know about. We've seen it. We liked it. We want you to see it as well. Then basically them egging the fans on to get them to release this cut. From what I've seen, it's almost been universal in its praise. I've seen a few people criticize it in that it's slow at the start, and then it picks up around the second act. I mean, I thought it was paced perfectly. Some of the CGI was a little choppy, especially in the final fight scene.
I believe I've read a couple of different sources where they spent somewhere between 40 to 70 million to get this version done.
Yeah, and you know what that
CG and stuff.
You know what that was for, right? That 40 to 70.
Most of the final 15 minutes, I would imagine.
It was the final 15 minutes, and it was Martha talking to Lois. That was literally it. That was literally it. And we'll talk about that because I read something earlier about that was super interesting. I believe that, if you want to cast the guy and he pitches you this film, if you don't want it, turn it down.
Yeah.
You're the studio. You're the one giving him millions of dollars to make the movie. Why greenlight his movie? And then, 2/3 of the way through the production be like, yeah, we don't want to do it anymore. And we're going to fire you. We're not going to fire you. We're going to let you go so you can deal with the death of your daughter. But we're going to hire someone who's going to come in and absolutely butcher the film, and we're going to rewrite the whole thing. Mm. That is dog shit business, in my opinion.
Yeah, but yes, night and day. And I own Justice League on Blu-ray. I would be more than happy to pick this up on Blu-ray and put it on the shelf. It is, by and large, a completely different film.
Yeah, for sure.
It shares some of the same characters, and there's a little bit of shared footage, but by and large, this is a completely different film.
Yeah. And, we got about an hour into it last night, and I posted something on Facebook. But basically, it was it's amazing how just something as simple as a music change can change an entire scene.
Yeah.
The big point was so in the original cut, when Bruce Wayne goes to visit the fishing village, and he's looking for Arthur Curry, they kind of when Arthur Curry swims into the ocean or whatever, they play that kind of generic rock music of oh, look at him, he's a badass. But in the background, when he leaves, they have that chanting Norwegian choir singing him away.
Yeah.
And I was I got goosebumps because I'm holy shit, he's he literally is a god to these people. And it was something just as simple as that. Before I was all right, cool. Like, we know it's Aquaman. He's a badass, whatever. Like, the rock music really got us, bro. But you didn't think about what he did to the people that he was helping. And it wasn't until they were literally chanting that song to him at the village, I was like, wow, this feels so much different.
All right. Was there anything about the film you didn't like?
I mean, apart from, like, some of the choppy CGI, which was to be expected. You know, I will agree that the first act was a little slow. But again, I'm someone that is willing to sit through slow pacing if it's to set the table. And a lot of stuff that happened was very much setting the table for what was going to be the main course.
I think at 4 hours, you couldn't have done this at the cinema. Like, it only works at the home streaming level. I think, in my opinion, I mean, I enjoyed it overall, definitely, and I thought it was better than the original version. I think you still could have edited this down to, say, 3 hours, made it a bit tighter, and you could have put this on the cinema without any problem.
Yeah, for sure. Like, knowing the things that Snyder has added into the movie in the post-production, right, and the stuff that he refilmed, you could have cut this down into a 3-hour film very easily. I think
there's quite a bit of fan service in there, and that's fine because, look, this is his last chance to play with these toys. I think there's probably too many endings, but again, I think if this was a 3-hour film that hit the cinema, he wouldn't have done as much as he did because ideally he would have been coming back for more films. I think because he knew that this was it, he kind of wanted to throw everything on the table. So I understand why it's there, but I think if you were to edit it down to a 3-hour flick and have the next film, it would have been just perfect.
Yeah, the epilogue was very Justice League Return of the King.
Yeah, very Return of the King. Very Return of the King. It's like an ending and an ending and an ending. Okay, so let's dive into spoilers. So, clear warning, if you haven't seen the film yet, do yourself a favor. I think in Australia you're either going to be on Bing.
Binge, yeah.
Binge.
Binge, it's all it's on.
Or you are on Bing surfing the bay looking for... Not that we would condone that kind of course of action. Spoilers. Wow.
Wow.
So much.
My God.
I mean, Martian Manhunter, finally.
Yeah.
I knew you would have loved that. Apparently, that was actually originally the scene that he appears in at the end there is the Green Lantern scene, and it got rewritten.
Yes. So, both were. Both, all the Martian Manhunter scenes. So that's actually what I was going to talk about. So, There's an interview that's come out with Zack Snyder where basically he was going to film Ryan Reynolds reprising his role as Green Lantern. When Martha meets Lois, that was supposed to be a whole different scene where basically Green Lantern is like come to Earth to find out what's going on, like why Earth's defenses have dropped, and he was going to sit in the background to basically, I don't know exactly what the thing was. And then the final scene, Martian Manhunter coming down. Warner Brothers flat out rejected it, and Snyder's pitch back was, let me film the nightmare scene at the end, and I will change it to Martian Manhunter, and I won't use Green Lantern. And they said yes, reluctantly.
Right.
So the only reason we got that extra footage was because Warner Brothers said straight up no to Green Lantern appearing in this film.
Did you notice the pregnancy kit in Lois's drawer?
Yes, and
Snyder has since gone on the record to confirm.
He has.
He has, that she is pregnant.
Yes. And I know this because at a big Snyder Justice League event, there are whiteboards that actually lay out the story for Justice League 2 and 3. So I know how it ends. And it is very good.
Wasn't there isn't the story he becomes the next Batman or something like that, or is that just an old hair? Okay, please put on your tinfoil hats.
Well, this isn't tinfoil. This is canon. This is how it was supposed to end. So okay, hang on, and I'll say this as well. So the film should have ended with all of the heroes basically wrapping things up. That nightmare scene at the end is actually how Justice League 2 ends.
Yeah, I got that impression, yeah.
Yeah, and they basically shoehorned it in so that Bruce could have a vision about it instead. like he did in Batman vs Superman, where he had the vision of the Omega symbol and stuff in the desert as he's there and he's getting beaten up by Superman. They were like, we need to do another premonition, so that's what that became. That actual scene is at the end of Justice League 2 on the whiteboard, and then basically they shoehorned it into Bruce having another premonition that bad things were coming. So the original pitch was, in their grief, Bruce Wayne and Lois Lane hooked up and had a one-night stand, and that baby is Bruce's. That was going to be revealed in Justice League 2. And then in Justice League 3, after she gives birth, the epilogue to the whole story was that Bruce Wayne dies at the end of the third Justice League film. He then, 20 years later, at like a memorial for Bruce Wayne, the kid's obviously older, is like 22 or something, wants to know more about his father, and Lois takes him down to the Batcave and he becomes the new Batman. And that's how it was going to end.
Crazy.
It's insane. The whole outline for 2 and 3 honestly is nuts. Dr. Maru comes back and kills Wonder Woman and all the Amazonians. Darkseid kills all the Atlanteans he kills Aquaman with the trident. Omega beams all the Atlanteans. It then led to the team up of Mera, Deathstroke, Flash, Cyborg, and that Captain Cold was scheduled to appear in Justice League 2. And also the premonition that we thought was a premonition of Flash showing up in Batman vs Superman was going to be paid off in the third film, where it turns out in the Nightmare universe, or like in the Nightmare reality, Bruce Wayne, Cyborg, and Flash build a cosmic treadmill to send Flash back in time. If you remember specifically, Flash says, "Did I come too early?"
Yeah.
It's because when they're jumping through time on the cosmic treadmill, he doesn't know exactly what point in time he needs to land in. And that's when he says Lois is the key. Lois is the key is because in the second movie, Lois dies.
Yes.
And that's what sends Superman crazy.
Yeah.
And then that's what sets off the Nightmare reality. The whole thing is just nuts. Like the way it's set up. I don't have the time to go into it because it's like a 10 or 11 page document.
Right.
I have it all on my phone, and I've read through it. And it's honestly, it's fantastic. It's an honest shame we're likely never going to get these films because, based purely on the outlines, this could rival what Marvel's doing in a very different way, where they were slow building towards Endgame. This is the fast way to do it, and to do it well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt there was going to be a backpedaling from. I mean, you might reclaim the Earth, but I mean, it was going to be a ruined mess. But it's not like he snaps his fingers. I mean, he rocks up and can you undo the mother boxes the same way you can undo the Infinity Stones? I don't know.
I mean, Cyborg did.
Yeah. Didn't he? Wasn't his story a lot better too? Like so much better.
Oh my god, Cyborg's story, like in the Whedon cut, he just felt shoehorned in.
Yeah,
which is really unfortunate because Cyborg's a very interesting and complex character.
Yeah,
and just seeing how much more screen time he got and how, like, when they were saying that Cyborg was going to be a central character to the story, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's just an excuse to give him more screen time. He really was essential to that story.
Yeah, I mean, he's part of a mother box, and without him, none of it would have happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so
I got to say, I was much happier. You know, if you cast your mind back when we first reviewed Justice League, I was really unhappy with some of the yeehaw bro humor and that sort of stuff that was going on, and especially with Aquaman. And while there's a tiny bit of that there, it's nowhere near what it was. I felt the humor now was much, much, much better. I mean, most of it came from Barry still, but they got rid of just the dumb humor that Whedon put in there.
Yeah, a lot of it's kind of like, it's sad when you think about it, but a lot of the humor has come out of like kind of the traumatic parts of the film.
Yeah.
Which is it's really sad, but like, yeah, I thought the humor was done really well in that, like, I know for myself when I go through something that's kind of traumatic or like upsetting, my instant reaction is to go to humor and try to make a joke and make myself laugh. And yeah, there are parts where like there's some real darkness in that movie, and they're just like,
it wouldn't be a DC film without it.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
But well, no, I really liked it. I definitely better than the Whedon cut.
Yeah. Absolutely. And keep an eye out for the black and white version too, because, first of all, don't adjust your sets. It is meant to be in the 4:3 ratio.
Correct.
Yeah, don't freak out about that. And secondly, keep an eye out for the black and white edition, because apparently that nightmare scene at the end is slightly different in the black and white version.
So what's going on with that? Have they announced like that's going to be a Blu-ray thing, or
I don't know. I think it's coming to HBO as well in a later date. I'm not sure how much later, but Snyder has said that there's a few minor differences, and that specifically Leto's scene plays a little differently in that scene. So, and it is also supposed to be, while the color version is for the masses, it's the Snyder. The black and white one is, as far as he's concerned, the ultimate his version. He's the one. That's the one he wants you to see. So.
When I actually got finished finished watching the movie, I was talking to Ethan about it, and I'll read you some of the text we was going through. I just said to him it was excellent, and he goes, the stuff with the Joker at the end was so good. His Joker there was better than the entirety of Suicide Squad. Yeah, and I honestly agree. Like,
well, and the implications too that Batman killed Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
as almost as in revenge for Robin.
Yeah.
So, like, it's you can see where the whole thing was meant to go. Again, suitably dark.
Again, a lot of darkness, very, very dark.
But yeah, it was good. It was long. I'm glad I watched it at home. I was able to pause and go and get a drink and stretch my legs and go to the toilet and lots of stuff, which is great. I don't think it would have done well at the cinema. It's just too long. Perfect on the home streaming service. Do hope to see a Blu-ray release. Would be very keen to put it on the shelf next to my BVS extended edition.
I mean, I think they could have done it in the cinemas and did what they did when they did the extended release of Avatar and just do an intermission.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, because they like that 3.5-4 hour cut of Avatar. When they dropped that, there was like a 20-minute intermission where you could go take a piss or go get more food or whatever, and then come back and do the last 2 hours. So, this is something that if they wanted to, I think they could put it into cinemas. It's just kind of, is there a market for that? Or are people just more happy to sit at home and watch it? Which, personally, I mean, knowing that I can stop it whenever I want and go pee, and if I run out of snacks, I can pause it, during the middle of like a big action, big climactic scene, and be like, oh, I need more popcorn. For me personally, I'd much rather watch it at home, but there could be a market for the cinemas.
Hey, Lucas.
Yes.
Are you ready for Mechagodzilla March 25th?
Oh my God! We got tickets to go see it on 4:30 on Saturday.
Lovely.
Can't see it release day because Ethan is working nights, and we were gonna go Thursday night after work and see it, but he's working. He's got nights the next couple of weeks. So
all right. Well, Peter Rabbit 2 March 25th. Godzilla vs Kong March 25th. Mick Fleetwood and Friends. Probably something a number of people are going to go see. March 25th.
Oh, what's this?
There's like a bio flick, I guess, of Mick Fleetwood. Yeah, hitting cinemas.
Oh, it's a concert.
Something like that. Concert. Yeah, okay. Nobody, April 1st. A lot of people keen on that one.
Is that the one with Odenkirk?
Yeah, old mate from Better Call Saul.
Yeah, the trailers for that have been excellent.
Yes, and Mortal Kombat April 15th, and we'll be back before then, all going well. And The Unholy on April 15th as well. I'm probably going to go see Mortal Kombat with my daughter. She's
oh my God, Mortal Kombat's going to be excellent.
She's become a Mortal Kombat fan over the last 6-7 months, and then she sort of came into my office the other day. She's like, hang on a minute. I'm like, yeah, I've been playing this stuff since the mid-90s. She's like, that's Sub-Zero you got on your wall. Yeah, but she's seen all this stuff growing up and never paid any attention because it's just nerdy video game stuff, but now she's been playing it. She's like, wait a minute, you've got all this Kombat stuff.
He's been here the whole time?
Yeah, Dad's been cool the whole time. Yeah, right. All right then, well, we better wrap this one up because it's getting a bit long in the tooth, but lots to see if you haven't already. Of course, go and watch Wandavision if you haven't. Now's a great time to sign up to Disney Plus. There's just so much stuff on there. Of course, you can catch up with things like Mandalorian and a bunch of other shows. Falcon and Winter Soldier weekly, really enjoying that. And of course, go and find Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's a great watch.
Yeah, I'll definitely say if you wanted to see Justice League, or if you saw Justice League and you didn't like it but you wanted to, this is the cut for you, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Just make sure you're at home and comfortable.
Yeah, that's it. Lots of pillows under the bum.
Yeah. All right, then. That's all from us. We'll be back in 3 weeks, all going well. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. Your ongoing support is appreciated. Helps keep our SoundCloud account open. Hopefully we'll have a third with us in the next podcast. Ethan will be off nights, or Jesse, and we can yak about, more in-depth Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I'm looking forward to. So,
oh my god, very excited. Well, by that point, I think we'll have passed the halfway mark. So
yeah.
Yeah,
all right, then.
very good.
Till then, look after yourselves, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Dun, 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 dun.